Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. Because without you guys, well, I certainly wouldn't be doing all the work on the studio that I'm doing now. And I got to tell you, thank you, Space Cowboy, last night, the first of many guests that we will have on the program. He's getting close to 1,000 subscribers. Only needs a few more. So, guys, be sure to go ahead and show him some love. There's a lot of great YouTubers out there, and they all work hard to bring you the latest news on the Dallas Cowboys as well as their opinions and stuff on it. And definitely show them some love because, you know, it's not easy doing this stuff. And there's a lot of work that goes behind it. I'm fortunate that I basically cover the news that's happening. So it's easy for me to shoot a video out here in my shop and stuff. But when you look at somebody like Law Nation that's doing film study and Vosh and stuff like that, they're doing hours of work to put out those videos and stuff. And, you know, it's terrible when you don't get a lot of people watching them and things. So you want to, you know, show them some love and appreciation and stuff. Comment on them and tell them that you think they're doing a good job or you disagree or whatever. Just go ahead and show them some love, man. Because for the most part, this is a labor of love doing YouTube. Unfortunately, I've been working really hard on getting the new set together, and it's coming together. I still have a bunch of stuff to do. Got to finish sanding out the holes in the wall, touch up the paint, and get some of my stuff on the walls and start figuring out the whole layout because we're basically turning that into, for next season, my sports pub. And we're going to start having next year football parties while we're live streaming with, you know, some friends and maybe a few of you guests will be able to come by and be part of the action and things as we go through and watch the games. And the desk that I have, I love the round part of it, but the tabletop is not big enough with all the stuff. Basically, I'm going to have 2 computers sitting up on the desk. I've got the sound mixer, Jobu, and everything else, and I don't want it to look cluttered, so I'm making a new top that's bigger. And unfortunately, in my haste yesterday, you know, thinking about my dad and everything else, I didn't make it quite wide enough. So I have to glue one more board on here, and I can't sand it out and stain it today, or at least not early today. So I made a mistake. Yeah. But mistakes happen. The thing about mistakes are you need to learn from them. I remember what my football coaches used to always say. Excuse my language. They said, if you're going to fuck up, at least fuck up at full speed. Don't go through and screw up something and just kind of walk through it. If you're going to screw up completely. And that's really true. Listening to T.O., now TMZ has made it sound a lot worse than what it is because we know how TMZ is. TMZ basically does the whole, you know, blitz on a person and try and get them to say something, you know, to get them basically out of their element, surprised, and hope that they say something crazy out there. Because when you see the headlines that T.O. warns Dak Prescott, you know, it's like you thought the T.O. was just going on a whole rant saying that Dak Prescott, they're down to get you and everything else. It was basically a conversation, and he was just kind of speaking kind of off the top of his head and stuff and talking about some of the things that went on in Dallas. And you have to believe where there's smoke, there's fire. When you hear a lot of players kind of saying the same thing, after a while you have to start thinking, well, maybe there is a little bit to some of the stuff they're saying. Well, I tell you what, let's look at the clip of T.O. and we'll talk about it after that's through, and then you can get your own take on it. You know, TMZ is basically a tool. You know, you can get some information, you can get some tad bits, but you've got to be able to kind of look at it objectively.
I know, but I gotta know, like, is this, how do you know, like, what's the details behind this? People want to know.
Dude, it goes back. I mean, you can ask Patrick Creighton. Everybody knows what went down. Like, bro, it's not a secret.
And we've had issues with Tony Romo still to this day.
I don't have any issues. Basically, it was just me interacting with the fans. They asked a question. I saw what was going on, so I addressed some of what their issues are now. So it is what it is. I'm not bitter. I was basically just explaining kind of what went down as to why they still haven't gotten to where they need to get after 8 years.
So they're doing their players right now the same way that you got done. It's like all the blame is kind of getting put on the wrong people.
Well, like I said, I mean, they've run a lot of people out of town, from players to coaches. So it can't be always the players.
Got you.
That's all I'm saying. It's like a process of elimination.
I got you. I gotta know though, like, was there like a specific thing like that you know, like smoking gun, like they did? There's no, like it's clear collusion.
Oh yeah, trust me. I mean, the guys that were in the locker room, my receiver coach at the time, like, trust me, everybody knows kind of what went down. So it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not bitter or anything. Like I said, it is what it is. It's done and over with. Like I said, I always interact with my fans. So again, it's not like it's, dude, just with the comments alone, everybody was like, they knew I was spot on.
Right.
So again, like you said, you can't, I just didn't like the way they were trying to say Dak is the problem, or Dak is putting blame or turning people against theirs. That's not fair. That's not fair to Dak. That's not fair to Dak based on what he did prior.
Right.
So other than that, you can't just keep blaming, or people can't be speculating and saying it's always the player's fault. But yeah, we can hold and be accountable for some stuff, but not everything.
So yeah, that's all it is from T.O., and it's not really that T.O. told us something that we don't all know. That, you know, it's a little infighting between the players and stuff like that. Everybody wants to get the ball. Everybody wants to be a superstar, especially T.O. He loved the limelight. So you have to take some of that with a grain of salt. But you also have to kind of listen to a little bit too, because you look at Des Bryant, who he's kind of feeling the same way as well. This season's going to be interesting. It really is. Everybody knows I've never been sold on Jason Garrett as a head coach. And my buddy Wade, shout out to Wade down in Dallas, sent me a text message this morning posing the question. He said, here's the question you need to ask Bosch. And I'm having a hard time thinking of who might be one. The question was, name coaches that have been with the same team for 7 years, or have taken over a team, and have been there for 7 years or longer, that have won a Super Bowl. In the modern era, I can't think of any right now. I might say maybe Don Shula with the Dolphins. I'm not sure what year the Dolphins started. But I can't think of, well, maybe Chuck Noll. But we're looking way, way back, because I'm trying to think. The Steelers didn't win theirs until 70-something, and he was their original coach. So when you look back at history, at least the recent history, we'll say the last 30 years or so, you can't see a coach that's been with the same team for 7 years plus that won a Super Bowl after that time. If they haven't won it within 5 years, chances are they're not going to. Maybe we'll change that trend with Jason Garrett this year. But at some point, we got to stop making mistakes. I'm Mark Holmes, thanking you guys for all the support.